I don't know how to talk this thing, oh. But that your pikin and the boy resemble the other sister well. Where those girls, they exchange house that time. I better go do DNA test.
Dama, you should have told me. I am angry, yes, but I did not marry your perfection.
They say time heals wounds, but some wounds, time only makes them deeper. Months had passed since Nnamdi walked away from Adama. Her apartment became a shell, quiet, cold, echoing with memories. She moved like someone half alive. Food lost its taste, sleep fled from her eyes. Only silence kept her company. Every evening, she sat by the window, watching the sky darken, hoping, praying that maybe he'd come back, but he never did. Then, one Harmattan morning, as the dusty wind brushed her curtain, came a sound she hadn't heard in months. Knock, knock. She froze. Her heart forgot how to beat. Slowly, she dragged herself to the door. And when she opened it, she stopped breathing. It was Nnamdi. His eyes told a story of sleepless nights and restless guilt. He looked like a man who had fought a long war, not with enemies, but with his own heart. Adama, he said quietly, voice trembling, you should have told me. Her lips parted, but no words came. He sighed deeply, tears hiding in his eyes. I am angry, yes, but I did not marry your perfection. I married your soul. That broke her. Her tears spilled freely, years of fear and shame pouring out. I didn't want to lose you, she whispered. I thought if I told you the truth, you'd walk away. You lost me, he said softly, because you hid from me. Silence fell, the heavy kind that carries both pain and love. Then he reached out and took her hand gently, like holding something precious and fragile. But I am here now. No more secrets. We walk together or we don't walk at all. And just like that, hope breathed again. They went back to the hospital hand in hand. After several tests, the doctor smiled. Madam, your womb is not closed, he said kindly. There was only scar tissue. We can treat this. Adama broke down in joy. Nnamdi held her close, whispering, God still writes our story. 3 months of treatment, 6 months of patience. Then one morning, she noticed her period didn't come. The test was positive. The world, once dark, flooded with sunlight. 9 months later, she gave birth to a baby girl whom they named Chinonso, meaning God is near. When Nnamdi carried the baby in his arms, he wept like a child, not from weakness, but from gratitude. Life had blossomed again. But peace, peace, in this world never stays quiet for long. Back in Chijioke's house, something was changing. His little boy, Kamsi, was growing fast, bright, sharp with the same gentle eyes Adama had. People often commented on it, but Chijioke laughed it off. He had no reason to doubt, until destiny decided it was time for truth. One sunny afternoon, at a pharmacy in town, Chijioke met an old nurse, gray-haired, retired, with the kind of eyes that see too much and say too little. She greeted him warmly, then leaned closer, voice low. Sir, I don't know how to talk this thing, but that's your pikin, the boy. He resembled the other sister well. The way those girls they exchange house that time. You sure say you don't ever do DNA before? Those words struck like lightning. Chijioke felt his world spin. He didn't argue. He didn't shout. He simply walked away, heart pounding like a drum. 2 weeks later, the results came. Cold, sharp, merciless. Kamsi was not Adama's child. He was Adama's. Everything he believed in, his marriage, his trust, his sanity, shattered. He went home quietly. Adama, seeing his face, already knew. When he dropped the envelope on the table, she fell to her knees, trembling. I am sorry, she cried. I didn't plan it this way. I thought. But he raised a hand. Don't, he said softly. His silence thundered louder than any words. Weeks later, divorce papers arrived like harmattan dust, dry, cold, inevitable. He took Kamsi and prepared to leave the country. But before he flew, he visited Nnamdi and Adama, not to reconcile, not to understand, but to wound. You both betrayed me. You played with destiny like it's palm kernels. If forgiveness is that easy, then let's switch spouses, since all of you share so easily. Nnamdi stepped forward, calm, steady. Pain makes you say what your heart does not mean, he said. Do not let bitterness bury you, brother. Chijioke's eyes glistened, but he turned and walked away. And soon the plane carried him to another land. Years rolled like the harmattan dust. Adama healed, slowly, carefully. She worked hard to rebuild her life piece by piece. In time, she met Richmond, a kind man with patient eyes and a steady soul. He didn't ask her to erase the past. He only asked to walk beside her in the present. Adama told him that she was barren and can't give birth, but it didn't bother her. He said if she wants kids, they can go for surrogate or adopt, whichever one she wants. He loved her deeply and stood by her. After they got married, they visited the hospital for checkups. The doctor said her womb had scars that had refused to heal. Richmond didn't complain. He held her hand, took her abroad, and together they chose surrogacy. When the babies came, 3 beautiful children, laughter returned to her home. She would often sit by their bedside at night, whispering prayers for the boy she once called son. 18 years later, a tall man jumped off a plane at Enugu Airport. His name was Kamsi Ochukwu. His voice deep, his gaze steady, yet behind those calm eyes, a storm of questions. He had come searching for truth, for peace, for the missing pieces of his identity. When he finally stood before Adama, her hands shook like leaves in the wind. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. I am sorry. He took a step closer. Auntie, he began. She closed her eyes, bracing for rejection. But then his tone softened. No, not auntie. You carried me. You suffered for me. Both of you are my mothers. And I will love you until my last breath. Adama broke into tears, the kind that cleansed the soul. And for the first time in decades, the wound began to close. Not fully, but enough. Because forgiveness is not forgetting. It is choosing peace over pain. As for Chijioke, he ended up with Fatima, a loud but beautiful woman who loved food as much as she loved herself. She was bold, perhaps too bold. When Chijioke's parents visited, Fatima would glare at them. If the dishes were dirty or the food uncooked, she would shout, "Abeg, go back to your house. Next time, call before you come. If not, wait outside the gate." It was chaos. Sometimes even the neighbors laughed. Chijioke would sit in the corner, shaking his head, remembering Adama's calmness, her quiet respect even when his family insulted her. Regret settled on his shoulders like a heavy cloth. One evening he muttered to himself, "She never gave me problems, despite everything. She respected me, my parents, and I drove her away. For what? I'm finished." The wind outside carried his words like a confession to the night. The end. Moral lesson. When we hide the truth to protect love, we plant a seed that will one day grow into sorrow. But when truth finally rises, true love can still find us, no matter how broken we are.